We have a guest.
A big deal guest.
Big deal.
What's the bank in Fairbanks?
Ooh, the bank in Fairbanks.
Watch out, world.
I like that. I think you should use that.
You should use that.
The banks in Fairbanks. He puts the bank in Wow.
Wow.
That was clever. Joseph owns Hunger Street Tacos, so
Joseph from Hunger Street today. Super stoked. Small business to small business.
oh, this is going to be interesting because I think we share probably the same problems.
Same problem, same demographic.
Same demographic. He's expanding. I'm expanding.
Perfect. This will be great.
Was born in Guadalajara, grew up in Acapulco, spent really the first 7 years of my life, of my childhood in Mexico. Love it. Would live there in a heartbeat if I could figure out how to make a living down there and not have to deal with corruption. But it's tough, but it's a great place. And it's really part of who I am, especially since I've also married a Mexican girl. So, and then my dad became a pastor of a local church here in Maitland in '85, and really been here ever since, other than college. So,
Do you think those first 7 years, obviously, in, let's say, in Hispanic country, shaped or changed some of the ways now, like you see your kids grow up here?
Well, I don't really feel like Americans really consider me as American. That are close to me, that know my story, and Mexicans definitely don't consider me Mexican. So like you're kind of like on this fence, yeah. But you definitely see the world differently, and see business differently, because at least for me, it's so easy for a lot of business people to just see cheap labor and immigrants as synonymous, and for me it's more than that. I know what they go through because I've seen it, and
Sure.
so
You experience it.
yeah. I mean, I'm definitely sympathetic and passionate about what the struggle they've had to go through.
I think it's so different in those countries. I mean, I'm from Puerto Rico, but it's different when you talk about an island or Mexico or South American countries. Is just how hard they work for so little.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
So to put things in perspective, a workday there, regardless of the industry, is like 8 to 10 o'clock. Okay.
8 in the morning till 10.
Yeah, white collar even. And minimum wage down there is $3 a day. Not an hour, a day. So, I mean, yes, obviously people can afford to have a maid because they're paying them $3 a day, things like that. So yeah, there are some luxuries that they have down there that we don't have that are freaking amazing. But at the same time,
it's a different lifestyle.
Right. It's slower. It's definitely more family oriented. But man, it's tough. It's tough to make a living.
We were talking about it the other day in my family, like the difference of just when everybody migrated to America from an island. Like in Puerto Rico, you had the accessibility to have people working at the house, right? Yep. And to live that different lifestyle. And then you come here and it's not like that.
Not remotely. Yeah, I mean, like Sadie, my wife, the first time she was in Florida with me once we had come back to get married, the first time she got to a gas station, she cried. She was like, "What do I do?"
She didn't know. Really?
How would she know? So I mean, there you just pull up and tell them what grade gas you want.
Right. Somebody takes care of it.
Happens, and you give them like a 10-cent tip, and they're thrilled. So, yeah, it's just totally different. And the luxuries are like way more luxurious, and then the lows are like really low.
Really low. Dirt. Yeah. So how do you go? So you move here. You're 7. What happens? You study. What do you study?
Well, I went to Orangewood in Maitland, where my dad is the pastor. And then went to Auburn, studied international business, focused in Spanish.
Me too.
And marketing. Oh yeah.
What a waste.
Yeah, 100%. But it got me through, barely. And then went into banking.
You did banking?
Yeah, I was vice president of and had my own branch in Longwood, actually, at Seacoast National Bank.
Oh, Seacoast, yeah.
Right there next to Kobe.
Why did you go into banking? Just natural progression? Because your brother's in insurance.
Yeah, actually, during the summers, I was working as a courier for the bank during college, and one of the owners was a close friend. Started working. He's like, just come back and take a job as a teller while you look for your real job. And then within 3 years, I was vice president. So I was like, all right, well, this is cool. I'll take the paycheck. Was pretty miserable doing it, just because the creative itch was not being scratched. So
Are you a creative?
Yeah, for sure. To a fault, probably. But really the whole idea, the whole time I was working for Seacoast was to develop a network of clients that I could potentially see working with in the future. So I took a job as the CFO and sales director of a local HVAC contractor, and worked for them for another 5 years. And then I think sort of the last year is kind of where Hunger Street started to be birthed, and was just kind of playing around at home with Sadie on some different recipes, and David, my brother.
What year was that?
Would have been 2014. So yeah, and so we started playing with suadero, which is now kind of our staple, which is a brisket. So, we have that in common for sure.
That expensive piece of meat that wasn't expensive
Terribly
before.
inefficient piece of meat that
that you have to cook for long hours to get it to taste good.
To get a 50% yield and taste really good.
You know, that's funny that people don't realize that
Yeah.
we lose 50%.
At least.
But we've done so many different tests in yield.
I stopped doing them because it's so depressing.
It is.
I'm serious. I just scratch my head and I'm like, avocado and brisket are my two like most used. Like what the hell was I thinking? Like that is so dumb.
That's why I'm going in the pizza business.
There you
man.
go. Smart.
Do you like to cook?
Yeah.
You do.
But honestly, I would have been a chef. I would have studied to be a chef if I thought that it was at the time that it was a career that. I mean, I knew how hard it was, and I didn't want to ever be relegated to. At that time, what I thought was just being a cook, right? And so, because I knew it was long hours, and I knew that it was tough to raise a family, in that sort of a scenario, and I figured at some point I'd be married and have kids, and so I just avoided it, and it kind of hunted me down. But anyway, it was. So we started it in 2014. With $5,000, we bought a bunch of Camp Chef flat tops, cast iron flat tops, and a Hunger Street tent. I didn't do a food truck just because I thought, like, I did the math on it, and I was like, how does this make any sense? Like, and then I saw kind of the way Orlando was treating food trucks.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
it was just anti-business, and
Yeah,
so I just avoided it. I was like, man, that's like a Ferrari payment, and
like a Ferrari.
and you've got to be in it every day. We kept a 40-hour job and did this.
And did Hunger Street on the side.
Yeah, and so we started believe it or not, at Maitland Little League selling tacos and ring pops out of their concession stand.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember hearing about you guys, but I guess where was the other pop-up?
So this was like early on, right? So we did a season of Maitland Little League, and really our goal there was just to create like a restaurant feel at the Little League, at the ballpark.
Right.
People were like losing their shit. So at the end of the day, the goal was let's develop some raving fans who may potentially end up being investors. We didn't care. We weren't worried about profit loss, anything. We were just like, hey, let's look for fans, right? And this whole time I'm kind of seeking advice from John Rivers, who was a family friend. and just kind of picking his brain on, hey, what are our options? What do you think we should do here?
He's pretty knowledgeable.
He's knowledgeable, and he's just had little like bits of wisdom throughout the years that have kind of just stuck, that have kind of kept me on course, I feel like. But you know, it. So at that point, I'm trying to think. This was 2015, late 2015. Right. We started working out of East End Market in their commissary, and then
just like practicing, or just for events.
No, for events, and then we really kind of focused our efforts to Audubon Park. So red light, and Audubon Park Market were our two staples, just back and forth there. So that's probably where.
Yeah, that's probably where I heard of you. Yep, you're right. The Audubon Market.
Yep, which was, I mean, that was huge for us. They were. You know, Gabby was awesome, very supportive of local small businesses.
And it was a great demographic that goes to that market.
Yeah, very, very faithful demographic. Very faithful, and very like willing to support the neighborhood shop. So, but honestly, like East End has kind of become this like incubator that's really launched so many small concepts. So.
I mean, it's you, Gideon's, me. I use that kitchen.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I use that kitchen to develop recipes. Yeah, I think that. Did they?
Yeah.
Did they use it there?
Uh-huh.
The donut shop that now is on Colonial Dochi.
Yep.
Yeah, they were there.
Lineage.
True. So. Let's go on a tangent and talk about investors. How did it go? Like, how did you figure out to raise the capital to open the restaurant? You know, because like you're saying, right? We're out there looking.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody is in the restaurant business just looking for investors. How did you go about that?
So we had this core group of friends, family, you know, as you always do the first time, right? Mm-hmm. Or you don't make it. And so, you know, my pitch to them was really like, if you're looking for a Silicon Valley deal, this ain't it. You know, you're investing in me. Don't expect a huge return.
Right.
And so we basically paid them a percentage of, it was a debt to equity conversion deal.
Yeah.
And it was a 7-year term. We paid them interest throughout the 7-year term with a balloon at the end.
Okay.
And I mean, really, it was just one of those things where I had some people ask me for business plans, you know, that sort of thing. And you're just like, I at this point, like, we don't know enough to put together a business plan that's going to be of any meaning, you know?
Well, yeah, they want to see numbers, right?
Right.
And then you're like,
and so really the question with pro formas is always, how wrong is it? Right? Because there is no right pro forma.
For a restaurant that hasn't opened, or a concept that's not developed.
Right. So
I think it's mind-boggling that people are like, oh, I want to see numbers. Yeah. Okay.
I'll show you numbers.
Sure. I can show you whatever you want.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Right. And so how it's crazy.
It is. Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, like, you think, you know, somebody asked me last night, hey, what do you think of this location? And I'm like, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to do a beer joint. Okay, great. And what are your numbers? Like, what do you guys think that you're going to do? Oh, well, we're going to do $1 million. Wow. $1 million, huh? Okay. Like.
Right. Well, and I mean, like,
with that rent.
It's a similar, you know, when you do your calculations, for me at least, I looked at industry averages and then I cranked it up from there. Right. And so I was like, yeah, if industry averages 6 turns per seat, we can probably do 8, like, based on what?
On what?
Right. And so, like, at the end of the day, it's closer to 6, and you've got to figure out how to build business outside of those parameters, right?
I think that's the interesting thing about what you said. People are investing in you. Right?
Yep.
It's the same thing with me. People have invested in me. I've told them before they give me the check, this might not be your best investment.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
And I appreciate you, you know, that you think greatly of me, but at the same time, I want to be fair and give you that.
The expectations will kill everything, right?
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm like so truthful in that sense. Like, I don't want to I don't want anybody to say like, hey, you promised me this return and you didn't give me this return, and when am I exiting? Or no, there's no. I mean, I want to exit together,
Right.
hopefully in the future, but I don't know. And the restaurant business is so volatile.
Very volatile. I do think that it's like, I tell people, is it the hardest business in the world? Like people say it is. I don't know, probably like that's an exaggeration, right? It's business.
I think it's bullshit that people say it's the hardest business.
Business is hard.
Yeah,
Right?
as general.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, margins are lean, and they've gotten leaner over the years because inflation hasn't really applied to the restaurant industry. Like you look at the grocery business, and it's inflation like nonstop over the past 20 years.
Yep.
Restaurant doesn't apply, but as a result, you've seen obviously restaurants have picked up volume because people are willing to eat out as opposed to cooking their own meals.
Well, it's cheaper.
Right.
Right. I was talking to a friend of mine from Darden, and he was saying that it's the first time that the restaurant business, he was saying the supermarket business that overcome the restaurant business with their prepared meals.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's their mode of attack.
Yep.
How to get those people back into the supermarkets. Yep. But I mean, at the end of the day, supermarket meals suck. Yeah. Right.
Yep.
And it doesn't bring any experience. You go back home and you eat by yourself, which brings me to another thing. Like yesterday, Mr. Vic, was it yesterday or the day before, that he was talking about people are paying on the internet to have lunch or dinner with people. What? Like, we're not going to do that shit. Just like, why don't we do an event where people have dinner with you online? And I'm like, I don't think a lot of people want to have dinner with me online.
You might be surprised.
Joseph, do it.
Nah, that's not my thing.
It's not my thing either.
I do know that like I have some friends who have done that sort of thing where that's like interactive, and they cook the meals like and walk them through it.
What am I gonna walk them through the smoker so they can see it? Like, yo,
what happens to the one dude who like burns his chicken? You know, like then he's pissed at you. Like,
yeah,
no,
like,
it's not my deal. But there is a market for it, and because here's the thing, like across the board. With meals, really what people are looking to do is escape reality, right? And so whether it's, and this is the weird thing about Uber too, right? So it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, well, it's a tough one to understand. The reason why service is so important, and I'm just learning, like I feel like I'm learning this in the past year and a half. First couple of years, I was like, our food will speak for itself. Our service does not match. We'll get there, but like if people don't like our food, then whatever, Now, like I understand, just because there was so much pride in what we were doing, like it's easy to be so emotionally led to think that like it's enough, right? Now I get it. Like service has to match the food, or else you're screwed, right? Why is that? Because they're looking to escape reality. For that 30 minutes or however long they're at your restaurant, that's what's driving their willingness to spend money with you. So if you put them back in reality, they're done with you.
I don't disagree. The issue is just the reality of, we are a fast casual restaurant, right? So we don't provide a service to the table. We try to follow through, whatever. At the end of the day, when people go out, I think they want to be serviced at the table.
Well, and again, that goes back to expectations, right?
Yeah.
So, it's tough because, let's be honest, like you got to make the numbers work.
Yeah, but then the price changes. That's what 100%. That's what I was telling my dad. We went to Capitol Grill the other day, and I'm like, we could have had lunch, let's say somewhere else, probably the same meal, right? And it would have cost us maybe $60. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. He had a fish, I had a chicken, blah, blah, blah. Bill was $125 plus tip.
And what are you paying for? You're paying for,
and the service again. The service wasn't good that day.
Really?
No.
But that's really what you're paying for. That's really what you're looking for, is that show as part of the meal, right? So I think that there's a market for that, and I think that applies to any restaurant. But then you try and apply that same philosophy to the Uber game or the delivery game.
What are you confused about Uber? Well, you stopped it, right? We've talked about this numerous times.
Yeah.
And I always told you, I'm not fucking doing Uber.
100%.
And you did Uber.
Dude, you got to do it.
You got to do it. It's a marketing expense. I mean, I don't know the number of people that have told me you got to do third.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is not a marketing expense. It is cannibalizing on your business.
That's it.
100%.
And I always said that. I always said, if you take that business and give the option of people having the food at their house delivered, they're not going to come to the restaurant.
Yeah. And not only that, they could come to the restaurant twice for the same price.
For Pig Floyd's, the issue is the amount of money that I would have to raise to be able to cover the fee.
No, 100%.
I would look like a shithead.
Yeah. But my point is, like, you're not giving up one meal at your restaurant by offering Uber. You're giving up 2 meals at your restaurant.
Right. Because of the value of money. Right?
Because of how much the fees are for the end. And so when we got rid of Uber and all of the delivery services, our dine-in traffic skyrocketed. Like, our overall volume skyrocketed. Like, every time I have this conversation with restaurateurs who are still like, oh no, but we do so much business. I'm like, listen, you aren't doing more business than I was doing. Okay. We were averaging like $1,500 a day in Uber traffic. Doesn't mean we were making money, you know? And what's the cost of that? So we had an empty dining room.
I always said, Uber's my new partner. I don't want a new partner.
And here's a dirty little secret. All right. Dirty. This is the best part. The minute you cut out Uber, if you have demand, right? Uber, DoorDash, Postmates, guess who's still on all of their platforms and doesn't pay them a freaking penny?
You.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because so many people complained that they rebuilt our platform with their pictures, which who cares? Whatever. Mm-hmm. If the price is wrong, doesn't matter, because they're swiping at my terminal and I'm charging them what I want to charge them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So wait, so the Uber driver still picks it up?
Every day.
What?
Uber calls, places the order, because we don't have their
okay.
their
You don't have their
iPad
machine.
or whatever, which drives my employees crazy because it's like somebody that barely speaks English. But they call, they place the order, they come in as a customer, swipe their card, and they're on their way, and I don't pay 30%. So
it's a good deal.
Yeah, and every month I field a phone call from all of them saying, "Hey, we'd like to partner with you because
I got the emails.
Oh man, so
I'm like not interested.
But anyway, like if restaurateurs were smart and got together and said we're not going to do this, Uber'd still be there.
I started with a food truck. You started in Little League, right?
Yeah.
How do you decide at that point, okay, it's working, I'm at the market, sales are good, people are liking the product. How do you move into the brick and mortar, and why do you choose that location on Fairbanks, which was the former Four Rivers?
Yeah.
And he was fucking pumping.
Dude, he did.
He was pumping what, $5 million out of that?
His second year, he did $7 million out of that location.
Fucking ridiculous, man.
That's
ridiculous.
So much volume.
Hey, John, if you listen to this, I fucking respect you for that, man. For real. $7 million out of what? How many square feet?
It's a 400 square foot kitchen.
Total, what would you say?
Like maybe 2,000.
Fucking nuts, man. 7 million, pumping 7 million.
His first year he did 4.4
out of that location. Whew. The lines were ridiculous.
At that point, there were 10 parking spots.
I think that was a great location. How do you come about it? Because it had been a burger joint, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, go back to your first question. How do
you make the decision?
Yeah, right? I think we had made the decision like day one
that you were going to open a restaurant.
Yes. Okay. Orlando needs this. It doesn't have it, and our mission is to highlight Mexican, like true Mexican street food. And so I feel like there was probably not, but again, like this is two guys who have been in the restaurant industry in college as like side jobs.
Because you're doing it with your brother.
Right, right.
Yes. These are the two guys.
So my brother I worked for Jimmy John's in college, and my brother worked at Chick-fil-A as a trainer, right?
As a trainer, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, we had that background, but like, it's different running your own place, right? So, and so we are, building this thing, thinking we got a 5-year vision for this, and in 5 years we'll have a brick and mortar. In the meantime, we're just going to keep working our jobs and like slowly, which is like in retrospect, it's like what the hell are you thinking? Anyway, to your comment about if you're however many years in and this is what you have, are you taking this seriously?
Oh yeah,
right.
So to give a background on that, I went to play golf with a high-level executive from Darden, and I made the mistake of asking him in the middle of the round, hey, I have 2 units in 5 years. What do you think? Am I fast or slow? And he goes, are you in this as a leisure or are you in this as a business? Which I followed the following 9 holes. I didn't speak to him and I was pissed off.
Well, it's the difference between like
yeah, he's corporate, right? He has $300 million. Go ahead, guys. Open 100 restaurants. Let's see if it works.
It's also franchisees are just gobbling that up, and that's Clydesdale versus a racehorse, right?
It's just so different,
yeah.
Right? And at the end of the day, me and him are great friends. It's not personal, but he hit a spot.
No, I mean, I've thought about that a million times since then. It's like, well, all right, so what's accomplishment here? But no, so we were 2 years in, still doing every Monday the pop-up at Audubon Park. Get a phone call from John. And he's like, hey, you told me to let you know when the spot came available. It's available. It's yours if you want it. Make it happen.
Okay.
You got 3 months.
3 months.
So we
to
had
decide or
no, to sign a lease.
Okay.
So we had 3 months to raise $265,000 before we had to sign the lease.
In restaurant terms, that's not a big raise.
No, it's not. It's really not.
It's not. Restaurants are typically
kitchen was there.
$600 to $2 million.
Yeah, kitchen was there. Hood was there. The bones were there. So
right.
All we were really doing, we had some plumbing projects, like major plumbing projects, and equipment, right? And so.
Did you get that support right away?
No. So 3 months comes, right? We have
I love these
so no.
stories.
Okay, so this is the night before we have to sign the lease or drop dead, right?
I love these freaking
and we
stories, man.
finally have our shit together to the point where we have a pro forma on paper.
Okay.
Because we're working 40, 50 hours a week plus the
thing. Yeah.
right. So like there's just not a whole lot of time. We have this huge what we call founders dinner, right? Going into
You're cooking for everybody?
Yes, correct. Going into the meeting, we had $65,000 raised.
Hey, you had something.
Yeah. So we cook for them. I mean, we put on the show. They're all like shaking their head, like eating it up.
This is
right?
great.
Yeah. Leave the meeting with $65,000.
Oof.
I look at my brothers because my brother David is a twin. My brother Jonathan is a Crummer graduate, and he's a smart kid. And so we're talking. We're like, all right, so what do? We got $65,000. And Jonathan looks at me and he goes, if you raise 65, you can raise the rest. Sign the lease.
Yeah.
Okay. So next morning, here's the lease. Let's do this. So we've got 3 months, I think it was, maybe 4, for build out. Free rent. Okay. And then after that, we were paying rent. So within about 3 weeks of signing the lease, it's funny how you get motivated once you got skin in the game, right? 3 months from signing the lease, or 3 weeks from signing the lease, we had the remaining, or the additional $205,000. But it was freaking.
Did I ever tell you my story? Bro, I bought the restaurant that was there for $100,000 with my seed money.
What was that like?
It was, Turkish cuisine, shit place. I tore it up, and I had literally $150,000. That's all the money I had. And I remember that I was paying rent, and my money kept depleting. And it was like, this was from November through like February.
It's the scariest feeling.
Oh shit, man! I was like, I'm gonna have to sell this and see if I could recoup any of that money. and all of a sudden the money appeared. It's so weird.
Yeah. What was that like when you drop a 6-figure check, right? And then you walk into that kitchen and
It was shit.
You're like, oh,
I said, like,
my gosh.
I thought I was gonna pick up at least $15,000 in equipment.
Did you buy the equipment?
Yeah.
So
and the guy gave me $2,000.
Yeah.
Like,
same.
It was stupid.
And the thing about equipment is like,
it has no value.
So we bought the equipment from a burger joint, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does that translate to
It
a
doesn't.
taqueria, right?
I bought an equipment in Lake
thinking-
Nona from a burger joint for 35 G's. I walked in there. The only thing that had value is an ice cream machine.
100%. Yeah. So don't do that, guys.
Yeah, don't buy used equipment. It's stupid.
You buy the equipment that you need. But anyway, we get in there and we start cleaning.
Grease.
Dude.
Yeah, because when you do burgers, it's so greasy.
So much. So we're a month in.
Just cleaning.
Still cleaning. Wow. And I finally say, screw this. We're hiring a cleaning company. Like, again, like that took a month to figure out, but whatever. So we hire this cleaning company. They quote us 3 people for a day. 3 days later, they're still cleaning.
No way.
Professional cleaning company. At the end of the clean, they were like, so we ate this one. This was the dirtiest kitchen we've ever cleaned. So we completely gutted it after that. Redid all the floors because the floors were like cratered because the grease eats up concrete.
Sure. Yep.
So we redid all the floors, redid, everything in there. Pressure washed literally from the ceiling all the way down. And then actually redid all the ductwork because the ductwork was just caked with just horrible.
God.
So, yeah, but it was, then you're 4 months in and, oh wait, we got to worry about a menu. Because we were mom and pop, bro. Like, we had like 5 items. Yeah. Okay. So we spent 3 weeks developing. So we had brisket taco, brisket quesadilla, campechano, which is just adding chorizo to that, right? Yeah. Mushroom quesadilla.
Didn't you have something breakfast related?
We had the El Mañanero. Yeah. And we had the grilled cheese taco. Everything else that's on our menu was added in the last 3 weeks prior to opening.
Okay.
I think we had guac too, but
so relatable.
Oh dude, and it's just like
you're trying to develop a menu and all of a sudden you print it and you're like, fuck, nope, let's reprint it. Yeah, we gotta add more.
Yep.
Or we gotta take this out.
Yep. So, and then obviously like figuring out the ramifications of prep based off that menu is like that's a year-long process.
Yeah.
But
every restaurant takes a year, I think, to get, its wind, unless you fail.
Yep.
Which a lot of them do in that first year. How was your first day?
Oh,
you go through that whole process. How long does it take you? 6 months to open?
No, we signed the lease in September and we opened January 17th.
Okay, that's not bad.
So soft open, friends only. 30 minutes before we open, the line is out past the dumpster. And you're just like, oh shit, what do we, so the first week, the smartest thing we did was we gave ourselves a week of soft, which should have been longer, but we gave ourselves a week of soft, and then we gave ourselves the weekend off, hard opening the next Monday. Yeah. Didn't realize that you could do it for several months if you wanted to, We just said, this is how we're going to do it. Let's go. Didn't have the foresight to literally only invite friends to the soft opening. So like we make an announcement and the flood. And I think that honestly, because of the murals, like people were paying attention more than we realized.
Yeah. You had beautiful murals.
And, so we open the doors and every single item that gets picked up at that point was made to order. There was no warm storage. There was no, nothing was batched. It was all to order. So like hour and a half waits. Within 30 minutes of soft open, we had a 3-star Yelp review. And it's just like, oh my gosh, what did we do? So yeah, I mean, you learn a lot real quick, but that was rough. That was rough.
Rough as fuck.
That first weekend, we closed it down, completely redesigned the kitchen, moved everything around, based off of the nightmares from that week. I really do think I still have some PTSD from that week, though.
Yeah, that first
So
week
rough.
is always rough. Yeah, you're trying to figure it out, right? And then you're trying to figure out pars. You're trying to figure out, for me, I don't know if you have the same situation, but I'm cooking barbecue on a daily basis. So to figure out your averages and not coming short, it was a mess for like 2 years. And then the store started reacting the same way, right? And obviously you don't want to run out of product, but
So chicken's easy for you, right? Like you
chicken's
can,
fine.
You can adjust halfway through the day.
Yeah.
Brisket,
Pork, ribs, gone. I'm done. If that shit's over, I'm done. Takes 6 to 12 hours. I can't do anything about it. It's over.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Anyways. So are you still involved day to day? Who's with you? Right?
Yeah.
Who's with you in this journey? You're going for your second restaurant, right?
Yep.
Tell me all about that.
I've been thinking about this location for a long time. Plant Street Market was showed to me by a friend who was consulting for us at the time. I was like, Winter Garden, man, you know.
I had the same feeling.
As a kid from Orlando, Central Florida, like it just was not on my radar at all. He takes me over there on a Saturday.
Packed.
What is going on?
Crazy.
Like every single family is driving up on a golf cart, you know, with their extended family. And it's like I thought it was like Hickville, right? But it's like Brazilians and Mexicans and Latinos
Everything.
and Asians and Americans, and you know, and everybody's getting along and like singing Kumbaya, and it's just like, but it's a great place because the layout is perfect. It was really well designed. It's family friendly, and it's right next to the Winter Garden Farmers Market. And so Saturdays are just bonkers. And it just felt like I'm a firm believer that you don't depend on somebody else for your success.
You're depending on that beer joint a lot.
Right.
Right.
So, but in this case, I felt comfortable with it, more than comfortable with it. So.
Cool. So you're working with your brother. You get along?
Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's been easy?
I mean,
It's tough.
It's tough, but it's not like you just have to. It's a decision, right? Every day, just like any other relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you are involved day to day?
Yeah.
Every day, right? Same.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do about
COVID. How did it hit you?
Pooh.
COVID was rough, huh?
I mean, we were at 30% overnight volume, and I think that we went, because of our shop and the way that it's set up, we went to, and we said, hey, why expose our staff to this if we don't have to? So we went 100% phone orders and online orders, 0 walk-up orders. So we went from 100% down to 30% overnight.
So you went down 70%.
Yes.
Fuck.
And that was like a 2-month process.
Holy shit.
Yeah. But none of our staff got sick through this entire
Which is
thing.
great.
So still, which is amazing. But at the end of the day, it all kind of changed with Beria, which is...
That's what I was going to ask you.
I think that like through that whole process, it was just like a constant struggle of like, okay, how can I evolve? Because demand was different every week. It seemed like family meals were a thing, and then they weren't. And then packaged alcohol was real big for us. It still kind of is, but it was just kind of finding what works. And then obviously the rules changing every 2 weeks, you know, and it's like, starting tomorrow, you can do this. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, so, and then the Beria, like Beria wasn't something that was ever on my radar because it's not really Mexico City. And we were like hyper focused to Mexico City. But all of a sudden,
you killed it with Beria.
Yeah.
That was like a trend.
Yeah.
Did it go away?
No.
Still there.
Yeah. So it's not going anywhere.
I guess it's not.
So
Yeah.
we went from 30% on Saturday, announced Birria, 100% volume on that following Monday, and it never stopped. But we still had the staff for 30%. So it was like, we got 10 people working here, including myself and David. Let's make this happen. And so like the first, again, it was like opening again, you know, like the first Friday and Saturday, actually the first 2 hour-and-a-half wait for takeout for a fast casual.
That's
You know,
shit.
It was like, it was
a
so
mess. It
rough.
was such a mess.
So we were doing $6,000 in sales
Takeout.
on Birria alone
Oh,
on
wow.
one item.
Whoa.
So, it never really, you know, that's like 600 birria per week. And these are like,
It's
the
elaborate.
machetes, they're handmade.
Yeah, there's elaborate.
There's a lot of work that goes into it. And, but it's funny, like I wasn't ever interested in birria. I kept telling people I'm never doing that. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know, it hit Instagram during COVID. Everybody's paying attention to it and like hyper focused on it. Then I'm getting like 5 questions a day.
Are you doing
Are
it?
you doing birria? Are you doing birria? I was like, all right, I got to pay attention to this.
Let's just do
At
it.
this point, like all bets are off. Let's just like make money, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're seeing your bank balance is depleting and you're like, all right, what do we do? So we come up with, okay, how can we make this Mexico City? We're going to do the machete. The machete is this massive handmade corn tortilla that is very much Mexico City. So we throw that in there, not really realizing at the time that like we kind of hit it out of the park just because it's so visual, and it was already a visual thing, but then all of a sudden seeing it like this massive taco.
And you guys have a very strong social media presence.
Yeah.
Right? So it
blew
up.
Blew up. So that kind of saved us, honestly. It hurts to admit, but it did. So it
okay,
wasn't.
man.
Yeah,
You're
right.
buddy. That's great.
And I don't think it's going anywhere. So
Interesting. So you adjusted. You're good. Now it's crazy, right? Now we
Yeah.
have the unemployment
Yeah.
situation where we can't find employees.
yeah, and we're opening
And you're opening a second one.
We've already started, and it's tough.
challenging, yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. So I have to ask you, in your career, what would you consider an oh shit moment? I'm just saying, like, is there a moment that you go, oh shit? Like, am I not? Like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many oh shit moments for me.
Sure. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like every day. Like,
Yeah, but you have one that you go like, okay, like this is next level. Because you signed that lease without money. That's an oh shit.
No, that was
moment.
100% one. Yeah.
I've signed a lease with no money
Yeah. I think that
recently too.
I think the most recent one was, you know, when you budget for a project
Oh yeah.
like Winter Garden, knowing, like, I know I was a banker. Every construction project comes back 100% over budget. Yeah. It doesn't matter, right?
Did it come over budget?
Over 100% over budget. You know, and like you've got that in the back of your head, but at the same time you're like, no, this one will be different. You know, we'll knock it out. And you're just like, well, shit. Okay, I got to get creative again. Like, where do you come up with 6 figures worth of money for a freaking market stall, right? But got to make it work. So, yeah. So those are the struggles that like employees don't really understand.
Meanwhile, we're trying to figure out how to protect ourselves against taxes. I mean, as a small business, you know, you have so many different things coming at it. Yep. You know, that it's just like, how do I protect myself?
Professional dodgeball.
It is. That's a good way of putting it. Hey man, nice to have you on.
Likewise.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
coming in. Appreciate it.